Ignite CEDH. Hello everyone, welcome to Ignite CEDH. I'm Kevin.
I'm Joseph.
And we're the Flannel Boys today, and we got a quick tournament report for you. Our friend Joseph here went to the top 4 of the Tough Mulligans tournament. 135 people entered, and he was the 4th through 3rd one left.
I was seat 3, so I was unfortunately seat 4-1 bumping me down, but it was it was a tough day, no pun intended, for sure.
Yeah, well, congratulations. That is a huge finish. You must be absolutely stoked.
Yeah, a 135 player event. That is the largest online tournament that I'm aware of, and I think that's a record that they said they were about to break. It was a few people short of hitting platinum for top deck points, so it was a gold level event. Lots of fun, very entry level. A lot of people can, because it's a free tournament, it's a lot of people's first tournaments, but there's also some high end grinders, like Zach from the Top Deck Invitational winner was playing, made it to top 16, and he wants the points. Like, it's free, not free points, but it's a good way to get points that cost $0, right? It's free.
Oh yeah. So the only investment is your time, which you're going to invest into any tournament anyway.
Yeah, and boy, did I invest some time.
Oh my goodness. This tournament started 10 a.m. Eastern for us, and it went until 2 a.m. 2 a.m., yeah.
2 a.m. I think I got out at 1:30.
I was playing video games at that time. So.
Yeah. I would have been in bed 2 hours before that.
Yeah. But hey, you did super well. Congratulations. What deck were you on?
Yeah. So you also played. To be fair,
I did play too. Yeah, we can talk about. We can go back and forth on that.
Yeah. I'm just saying I wasn't the only one playing.
No.
I chose to play my fully proxied RAL deck. Which
little turbo action.
A little turbo. I'm a player who likes to. I find myself very well at playing and the rules managing, like how to play a deck and pick up a deck and play it well. Mm-hmm. I want to be the kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none type of idea. So I switch decks quite a bit. My favorite deck by far is my pet deck, Kenrith. But right now, RAL was my favorite colors when I started playing Magic, and I always wanted to kind of wait till there's a deck that I feel is a really good deck, and RAL is in that place right now.
You've made a good choice, absolutely.
I picked RAL specifically for this tournament because it is a free tournament. It has a good barrier to entry, and I wanted to practice representing my board state.
Yeah, and I think this is this tournament's a really good opportunity to test any deck out or any because again you're not paying entry and it's 100% proxy friendly. I personally was on Ang for the first time solo. We played it 2 at a giant, but this is my first time on it solo. I went 1-4. Nothing really exciting happened. I exiled my opponent's boards at its speed. I guess that's kind of interesting, but that was my only win. And you had a few more wins, I think.
So my ending record was 2-1 and 2-2-1, and it was good enough to nail me 9th place, which is weird. I did not think a 2-2-1 would get me that high on the. Yeah,
that's actually I played out the 5th round just for fun, but I don't know if any 2 and 3s made it, but probably not.
I think a lot were cut, but I think there was one that made it.
Yeah, I didn't have good breakers because I lost the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, it wasn't actually a clean cut either. It's a Japanese format, and there was 3 people tied for 16th place.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the Japanese format, that's crazy just because the numbers of the points work out so differently when you're talking percentage of points wagered and stuff.
Yeah, it really depends on your opponents, and somehow it just perfectly worked out.
Well, hey, you got 9th. That's awesome. Did you do anything stand out during the regular portion of the tournament for you?
Yeah, so game 1, seat 1. Not seat 1, sorry. game 1, seat 2. My seat order was kind of insane for my day. I was in seat 2, 1, 1, 1, 4.
Oh my God. If you're playing a turbo, that's your bread and butter.
I'm playing
slather it on.
Yeah, I played one of the fastest decks in the format right now, and I won the seat order coin flip every time. So I was super stoked about seeing like my seating every time. So I'm seat 2, game 1. I'm playing one of my friends, Smalls. He is one of the best Heliod pilots in the world. Like if you look up Heliod on top 16, I'm pretty sure he's the one of the first people who come up. Okay. Along with like 2 other players, I don't really remember exactly who was playing. I know Smalls was on seat 4 playing Heliod. The other 2 opponents didn't really do much to my memory. I mulled to 5. It was not like a great 5 either. And I mull to 5, seat 2. I cast Fish. Turn 2, I pay for Fish and cast Vexing Bauble. So like I'm playing Ral. This is not the game plan Ral wants to play. Yeah. I am behind. Seat 1 was actually a Corvold.
Okay. Nice.
So I was playing against a Corvold. Heliod got like a decent start with a bunch of mana rocks. Can't really remember what C3 was doing. But it also had a few mana rocks. I think it was Rogthrast, if I recall correctly. And turn 3, seat 1, Corvold casts a Calling Ritual. And the only thing I have on my board is a Fish and a Vexing Bauble. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with this. Crack Vexing Bauble. Because I think I also had like some way to... I generated an extra mana permanently. Probably through like a Mox Diamond or something like that. Like I didn't have much. So I cracked Vexing Bauble. No, it was 3 lands because I had Gemstone Caverns for my first land. So I had 3 lands on turn 2. Nice. So I cracked Vexing Bauble because I was holding it up. I could either cast a... I think I had a Swan Song in my hand or a cracked Vexing Bauble. So I went with cracking Vexing Bauble. The Calling Ritual goes off, screwing over Heliod. And then I flip my top deck, and it's a Treasonous Ogre. And I just rip it. It's just like, play Treasonous Ogre, play Ral, because I haven't played Ral yet. It's turn 3, no Ral out. I play Electro, which is the Spider-Man Bergie card, that if you move steps or phases, any red mana maintains, and it generates a red mana.
Too, but I don't
it
think
is past your turn.
I don't think that's going to come up here, is it?
No, because I do not pass my turn.
No, it doesn't. Get it.
I cast 2 Ren's Resolve effects. Ren's Resolve is an exile 2. You may cast those cards until your next turn. I had 2 cards that have very similar effects. And I hit a Frantic Search into a bonus round, into Grape Shot, flipping my Ral. No, didn't flip my Ral. Grape Shot. Then I had to Fierce to copy. To then flip my Ral. And then it was just history. Once I flip Ral, it's just easy going there. I'm generating mana every time I cast a spell. So it's always net positive 1 mana for me, pretty much, on any Ral flip. And nobody had interaction. Just never cast the wheel, and nobody can interact if they don't already have it, right?
Yeah, people don't talk about that, but that's a big risk with wheel. This is kind of an aside, but wheeling during a combo, like if your combo involves wheeling, you need to have them under a silence or something, because you're going to get yourself screwed out of that win.
Yes and no. In Ral is very resilient, like extremely resilient.
Once you get going,
Once you get going, if you're wheeling like near the end of like your combo or your building phase, Ral doesn't necessarily like fizzle there. So you need a lot more. You need a lot more interaction in order to stop Ral than just like one single wheel can typically give. Because once I see 7 new cards, that's 7 new cards I can play with, and I'm generating red mana every time I try.
True.
It's tough. So I don't like wheeling just because it's like it does give an opportunity, but it worked out. I didn't need to wheel, and I got. I think I ended up making Infinite Storm with a net neutral Jessica's Will Reverberate combo, which Jessica's Will lets me generate red mana equal to the number of cards in someone's hand. Reverberate lets me pay 3 and pay 3 extra to buy back the card, copying a spell on the stack. If you're generating 6 mana every turn.
6 mana, yeah.
Yeah, if it's with Ral out, it's 5, but you want to get to 6 once Ral flips anyways. If you're generating 6 mana every turn with bonus rounds and ritual effects, or with a Seething Song, Mana Dork, or Jessica's Will, you are making Infinite Storm, and you just Brain Freeze or Grape Shot your opponents.
And infinite, like you have access to all the cards in your library too.
Yes, if Ral's out, you can also have access to all the cards in your library.
I was thinking with Ral in play, but yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. Like it also depends on, like you don't need Ral out to do that combo. It's just easier to do it typically with Ral out. But also Ral is flipping it in the middle of that combo typically. So yeah, so awesome. that went well. I then got a draw on my next game. My next game was a weird ass game. I honestly didn't have much. There was a Lumira player that immediately put down Collector Oof, which shut me off of my mana and stuff like that. Followed by like a Damping Spear or something like that, if I recall correctly. So I was like out of this game. There's an Absent player in seat 2, and they go for a Protein Hawk combo, and we were able to the 3 other players were able to exactly work together in order to stop the Protein Hawk combo and offer force a draw. So I had to Lava Dart, sack my only land, and Lava Dart the Collector Oof to enable the seat 4 to tap their mana rocks in order to stop Abzan, and Lumira needed to not shroud their Collector Oof with their Sylvan Safekeeper. So like it perfectly worked out. We can force a draw here, and Abzan can't really stop it because it's Abzan. Is not much you can do in that deck, but it was like so very close. It was a good draw. Then I proceeded to lose, pick up a game, again classic Storm win, against a Grixis Pirates, a Blue Farm, and a Rogthras, going seat 1. It's just sometimes you can't just have it, like there's not much you could do. And lost game 5 to a turn 1 Atali on the play. It's just like I didn't even get a chance. I was seat 4, didn't even get to play a card. So
he played more of your cards than you did, probably.
Easily, yeah. My cards were played. I did not play them.
I didn't cast them.
Yeah.
And then we get into the semifinals. How'd that go for you? You said you were 9th, so you would have been like 2nd, 3rd seat, probably 3rd.
I was 3rd seat.
Yeah.
So I was doing the math because my game ended super quickly. I was doing the math the whole time. I knew I was locked, and I was like, okay, Japanese format. These 8 people are ahead of me. I'm 9th. That means I'm in 3rd seat, which is bad for me. I want to be in 2nd seat. Yep. I was hoping that it worked out to be 3rd, but unfortunately 2nd, but unfortunately just didn't get there. I'm facing one of my best friends, online best friends, J-Dog, well-known player, a part of Team Monolith, which is a CDH pro team.
Okay.
He is seat 1 playing Blue Farm. He went undefeated in Swiss, going 3-0-2. He was not on Blue Farm, sorry, he was on Kinnan.
Okay.
Seat 2, I believe, was on Blue Farm. I don't fully remember what they were on. Me on seat 3, and Mono Blue Malcolm, seat 4. Not the partner Malcolm, the other Malcolm.
The one that you can cast spells for free when you get 4 counters on him?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so wild seat. I'm there, like, I'm seat 3. I'm facing against 2 decks that can easily stop me. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to see what happens. I don't think it will be super effective in this case. Give me one moment here.
Oh, take your time, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was against Blue Farm. I was against one of my other friends that I met in Buffalo, Win Diesel.
Okay, nice.
He was on Blue Farm in second seat. Blue Farm mauls down to like 5. Kinnan keeps like an okay hand. Malcolm keeps an okay hand. And they're all like, keep interaction for Ral. So I'm like, I'm probably not doing much this game. And they proceeded turn 1, like tried to get out Ral, I think. Or turn 2, I tried to get out Ral. I didn't see any opening. And then turn 3, Blue Farm decided to tap out to play a Smothering Tithe. My friend, J-Dog in first seat, makes the first movement, and casts a Commandeer on the Smothering Tithe. Kinnan in the Smothering Tithe, bloody scary.
That's game, yeah.
that would be game. Except Malcolm in fourth seat uses Commandeer, taking over the Smothering Tithe after it resolves. And I'm just like eating this up because I'm pretty sure that is most of the interaction.
So the first Commandeer resolved, and then he commandeered the spell again. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we pass one more turn cycle because I'm just like building up my board, and I didn't feel threatened by anybody at this point. Like Blue Farm, verbally said they had nothing after the Smothering Tithe. They needed it, and Kinnan didn't really have a board state fully built, but was also kind of banking on that. We get back to Timna, Blue Farm's turn. J-Dog at end step, I believe, pognifies the Malcolm while my Ral's on board, and I'm just like, I'm just staying quiet, just trying to look harmless.
Yeah.
Just because he was a little salty that he took the Smothering Tithe from him, not thinking long term, and I just turbo off with Ral. It was like a really good waiting for my moment. I knew no one had really decent interaction in their hand. Malcolm is like drawing, like making a lot of treasures, but with 3 cards in hand, I wasn't too worried, and I had redundancy on redundancy. So
that's like a pivotal play. There is hitting the Malcolm. Now I haven't played against Malcolm. It seems like a fairly, I guess you might say, niche CEDH deck. Like I don't think I've ever played against it.
I've seen it before.
Doesn't mean it can't win. Clearly, it made the top 16. But I think you got to hit the Ral there. The Ral has to be more scary.
I do agree. Like Ral's probably to hit there, but with how my hand turned out, I think I ended up Jessica's Willing right away, and I would be able to just recast Ral. Now I wouldn't get the Exile 3, but I don't think my Exile 3 was super relevant to my game plan, and it just worked out. I was able to storm off and win that game pretty quickly. I think it was like a 20-minute match. I look over at the leaderboard, and there was like the 3 game 1, game 2, and 3 were game 4 were all done. We just had pod 3 to play it out. So I waited and waited and waited
and a little more waiting
for a 3-hour game to collapse.
Yeah. So we're gonna skip ahead to the finals, then we'll come back and talk about the end of that game. So we're gonna go ahead to the finals. You get your seed order. you started mulligan procedures, correct?
Yeah, I did my stickers. I hit a 6 on my stickers.
Nice.
I was happy. I had like a really decent hand with a turn 2 or turn 3 Troger.
And then the judge interrupts you.
Judge interrupts us.
Yeah.
Says, "Excuse me, players." Pulls the player aside. Completely fine. Typically, this was a player from the long game, and they ended up reviewing the footage, and the footage had enough discrepancies that the player was then removed from the tournament, resetting basically the pod, and a player who was in that pod with the highest seeding under the next highest seeding was put into the finals pod.
Yeah. So the facts of the event, I was loosely following along while I was gaming. You were in the chat too. I saw you in the chat, so you were obviously at least loosely watching. And we're going to reference a couple things here. The tournament IPG, just from Magic the Gathering. And we're going to reference the Tough Mulligans official statement on it. During the semifinal of an event, during the semifinal of the Tough Mulligans event, a player had irrevocably changed their game state. They essentially put their exile into their graveyard while taking different actions. An entire mistake. They were in, I believe the timestamp for this is 3 hours and 44 minutes out of a 4-ish hour game, and at that point we would have been playing Magic for 14 hours straight, probably. Started at 10. This happened around midnight.
Yeah.
So this is my personal note. This is a case of mental fatigue, I feel. This is not something I don't think the player did maliciously, and they go over that in their summary of the incident. That they don't believe this was something done intentionally, which means it's not cheating. To cheat in Magic, you need to have 2 criteria. You need both of these criteria. IPG 4.8 defines cheating as the player must be attempting to gain an advantage from their action. The player gained an advantage. They were able to cast spells that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to cast. That led to the directly to them winning the game. That is straight from the incident statement that Tough Mulligans released. The second factor is that a player must also be aware that they're doing something illegal. They were not found to be aware that they were making that mistake. It was simply a mistake in representing their board state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I coincidentally played the same deck as the player.
Yes. Yeah. And
Ral,
how difficult is it to pilot?
Ral is one of the hardest decks I've ever played. It is the second hardest deck I've ever played. I've tried Inala the other week at a local just for fun night, and because I didn't have decks, I was like, I didn't plan to go that night, and I just went in and asked to borrow a deck. I randomly picked one of my friend's decks, and he gave me Ignala. And I was like, I have no idea how to play this. Let's just try it. Did not go well. But that's also because, like, I know what Ignala needs to do. I just have not memorized the combos. I thought I could maybe piece it together, but that game was over before I could even play it anyway, so I'm not too concerned.
Yeah. Ignala is like a 30-step combo, and I'm not exaggerating. There's an entire... the entire flowchart dedicated to how to do the Inala loops.
Gitrog, also a very tough deck. I'm not going to say that.
Very complicated, yep.
But for this case, Ral, I would say, is top 3, one of the hardest decks I've played ever. Yeah. Ral has the command zone, the deck, the graveyard, the hand, the creatures, lands, and then there's exile zones for 7 different interactions, and you have to maintain these the whole time. You can
cast this turn, you can cast up until next turn, you can cast right now, you can
cast right now for free.
And then your other exile zone.
Yeah.
Your regular exile, this is what I've spent out of my graveyard.
Then you also have cards in your graveyard that you can cast this turn because of Past in Flames, and new cards in your graveyard that you can't cast this turn. There is a lot to keep track of. You have to keep track of Ral Storm. You have to keep track of Normal Storm. You have to keep track of your mana. And I have built, like, fake tokens to kind of represent my Ral Storm, my normal Strom.
Yes, because because Storm and Ral Storm are different. Ral only goes
it's instants and sorceries. Yeah. And then I have a mana token. I try to keep track of my triggers because you can have 7 triggers on every cast of your spell. Once you get bonus rounds, Burgy effects, and stuff like that, it adds up. Like, there's a lot to track, and it's hard to maintain. This player played a Underworld Breach, mixed up their exile pile with their graveyard pile, and it was after a 14-hour day of playing the hardest deck, and unfortunately the player just wasn't representing their board state the way they needed it to, and it was a tough day.
It just comes down to, like, especially in long tournaments and long games like that, endurance is a skill. Being able to uphold your mental game is a very underrated skill in Magic.
That game went into high double-digit turns.
Yeah.
That game, just so you're aware, it was Ral seat 1. I think it was Blue Farm seat 2.
Yeah.
Kinnan seat 3, and Lady Octopus in seat 4.
That's a Stacks deck, correct?
That is a Stacks artifact mono blue deck that gets to play spells for free.
Yeah. So we're talking not only a long day, but a long game on top of that.
Yeah. I tuned in after my game, and Ral had 5 lands. Do you know how hard it is to get 5 lands on Ral's
board? Isn't that all of your lands?
Pretty much. It's tough to get 5 lands out. I don't think I've seen 5 lands on my board before. It was a long game. Lady Octopus had, like, Nexus of Becoming, God Pharaoh's statue, so Ral could not win through God's Pharaoh statue. Just a whole bunch of stuff going on with it. And then it was a tough game to watch, for sure. Yeah. The person handled the situation very nicely.
I did hear that. I heard that they accepted the punishment. There was no fight back or questioning or appealing. They knew they made a mistake. I believe there was some judge, like, in that game, the judge had stepped in as well and had taken some judge actions in that game. Not necessarily punishment actions, but, like, warnings for slow play. And just because it's been such a long tournament and there's so much to track.
Yeah, I don't think there was any slow play necessarily called. He was asking for actions a lot. The Ral wasn't ever tracking their Storm, so he ended up tracking Storm for the last turn. Okay. So every time a Storm count needed to be asked, the judge needed to come in and say it. And this happens. A tournament meant for new players, and have nothing bad to say. Nil and Greeny are amazing people. Put this event on multiple times a year, like, I think every 2 months or every month they try to, and it's been a blast. I've played a lot. Andrew, our partner, won the early days quite a bit. He introduced me to the server, and it's been a lot of fun. Just unfortunate events happen. After a 14-hour day, it started at 10 a.m. I didn't log out of my computer until 1:30.
And that's what, like, judges are there to help the game run smoothly as well. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with anything the judge did there. The player was very accepting of the punishment. But yes, there was, just to reiterate, there was no cheating. There was just mistakes that led to a disqualification.
Yeah,
I believe, in my opinion, the judges and the tournament organizer handled it like professionals. They just stuck to the facts. They didn't drag anybody through the mud, and they reiterated in their posts that they don't want people to drag this person. There's someone who made a mistake.
Mistakes happen, and it just shows the importance of representing a board state.
Absolutely.
Especially in such a complicated deck that a board state really matters.
Yeah. But this is just your friendly reminder to never be afraid to call a judge if you see something. This one happened because a spectator had noticed on the stream.
Okay. I didn't. Obviously, I was in the tournament at that point. I was readying for my game when we figured out that this was going down.
Yeah.
So I wasn't looking at chat. The finals pod decided to split the money, play for the glory and the gold top deck points.
Okay.
As some of you may know, or most of you, we're Canadian. I give zero fucks about the top deck invitational points because I'm not going to the US to go to the invitational.
Yeah.
I have no intention of doing so, so I try to work out a split that hopefully let me not play the last game, giving away the top deck points. Mini Mav, who was in C2, C2,
Mm-hmm.
Was also Canadian. He's from Newfoundland.
Oh, nice.
And he had no intentions of worrying about top deck points, which I know might upset some viewers, but it's unfortunately just top deck is very US based, and it is very expensive for us to go out.
Yeah. It just cuts down to everyone has their priorities in a tournament, and your priority isn't getting those top deck points.
Yeah.
For us to travel to the top deck invitational, we would probably need to top it to make money.
Yeah, and that is very close.
It's just,
it is.
There's something to say about playing for glory, but it's not. If it's not financially feasible, it's really, really tough to make that decision.
It's also hard to earn points in Canada.
Yeah,
we have
big time. 2
stores that can really earn top deck points right now. That Nerdz one does it one every 2. One Curtis is the other one in the Oshawa. Yeah. Oshawa can be up to a gold event. Nerdz typically is silver,
and
if I recall correctly.
Changing their entire circuit, so we're gonna have one for probably the first 3 or 4 months until things get settled.
Yeah, it's nearly impossible for me to earn points unless I'm going to the States, and right now, that is
just not feasible.
Not feasible. So.
Yeah.
So we split. We played for the glory. I played the best that I could anyways, just because I'm not going to hand a free win to people.
No, you still expect the competitive integrity in a tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Big time.
I tried to go off, but there was 2 early fishes and a Ristic study. I knew I'd probably fizzle pretty quickly. And I tried to go off. I get stopped, and then seat 4 manages to go through, and it is what it is. They won. They got the top deck points. They wanted the top deck points, and game was over.
Yeah. So you finish 4th place out of 135
technically
people.
Yeah,
sure. The 2nd through 4th.
Yeah,
they'll get the same prizing in most tournaments. How do you feel?
Not in this tournament. If you don't
really?
split, it's $200 for first, $100 for second, $50 for third, fourth.
Oh, so you in 3rd seat or 4th seat, 3rd seat had extra incentive to split the prizing then.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
I pushed. I got the $100 split. I'm happy.
Now, how do you feel the play styles and metagame was on Tough Mulligans versus an in-person event we have here in Canada, Southern Ontario?
I find once you get into the top pod area, the competition is very strong with Tough Mulligans.
Mm-hmm.
And can be very random. So we have the top 16 was a very interesting top 16. There was Katara, which is kind of like a control, maybe taking turns type deck. It basically lets you, whenever you cast a spell during your opponent's turn, you may get an experience counter. Whenever Katara attacks, you may draw a card. For each experience counter you have, if you do, discard a card.
That's pretty strong.
It can be. It can be. And it's a 2-drop blue creature.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. It definitely kind of just like it's weird. I don't think it will do super well in most tournaments, but it found its for its fun. It found its wave for sure. We had Lady Octopus, Rogthras, Kinnan, Kefka, Timnacrom. We had a Crick player, another Kinnan, a Tolly, a third Kinnan, me on Ral, another TNK, a fourth Kinnan, and another TNK.
Okay.
So there was 3 turbo decks that are known to be turbo. I mean, 4 turbo decks that were known to be turbo. Crick, 2 Rals, a Tolly. Mm-hmm. I do not know if Katara is turbo.
It's not. It's a control list.
It's a control list?
Yeah, so you want to, like, gain experience counters by casting spells on other people's turns, normally with control methods, destroying creatures, countering spells. And then you probably loop Nexus of Fate. And
loop Nexus of
spells. Yeah.
Loop Nexus of Fate or Dramatic Reversal lines. It looks like. With Isochron Scepter. Apparently it almost won.
Really?
Yeah, it almost won its top 16 match. Early, but they fizzled out and the Blue Farm player ended up taking it. Yeah, it was interesting. He was like seat 2 to be fair. Then there was one stacks deck, which is like super stacks. And then Kefka, who was on it looks like a turbo build. It's playing like Burnt Offering, Calling Ritual, Calling the Week, Reign of Filth. Beat Nick Breakfast.
Beat Nick Breakfast. I think I played against him.
Yeah, it's a turbo build with Courting Broodlord lines and like trying to sacrifice creatures.
They had a buy round one too.
Yeah. And then like 6 or 7 like known to be mid-range decks like Kinnan and Blue Farm. Mm-hmm. So like it was like a interesting meta for sure, and it was like if the finals round completed as it was as it was initially thought to, it would have been 2 Rows in the finals with a Malcolm and a Blue Farm. No, with a Blue Farm and a Kinnan. Right? Yeah. So it was a good overall day. Like it was a long ass day. I'm happy with the result. It was a really big tournament. Now it's a lot of more newer players, but there was some really good players like Zach from the Top Deck Invitational winner. He was in top 16 on that stream game playing Kinnan. And it was a great day. I had a lot of fun. I thank Tough Mulligans for hosting these types of tournaments every single time they do. It's a pleasure to play. They tried a interesting format change. So it was Japanese format with draws being half points given back. So you wager 8%. You get 4 back if you do a draw. A loss is 0% back, and you win the 8% from each player if you win.
Mm-hmm. I think that was. How did you feel with that? I like it personally, but
I didn't mind the idea, and like obviously it worked out in my favor.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just like I don't know exactly what it does in the long run. Like draws basically count as losses in the other format, so I would have been 2-3 if it was the other format, but because I got 4% of my points back while I was on a pretty high margin, it probably turned out in my favor more.
Okay.
So
yeah. So are you planning on doing any tournaments coming up before the end of the year? I know we have this Saturday. There's one in Hamilton, and there's one in London at the Mana Lounge. The one in Hamilton is at Waypoint Games. Waypoint Games is trying to grow their scene. The one London one's been going for a while, but I just haven't been able to make it yet.
I didn't even know about it. I don't think I see it on Top Deck.
London is not on Top Deck. I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh, we'll check it out." So maybe they will. They haven't posted the tournament there yet. So
if they did, it'd probably be promoted better. But I didn't know about it. I also don't really want to drive to London, like a 3-hour drive for me.
Yeah, it's about an hour for me.
It's two and a half ish, I guess.
Yeah, it's a longer drive for you, especially when you have Ancaster right there. So.
It's also in the winter. Also, I only do one tournament a weekend, and on Sunday we have Orangeville.
Yeah, we do. I'm excited for that.
Good friends of ours. They host a good Japanese format tournament. When I mean good, they're good people. They're a good group. I love playing with them. I don't love the format, but that's because it's a smaller setting. If it was a bigger setting, I think it's actually a better format.
Yeah, I think it works out in a bigger setting because you have more varied amount of points. In a smaller setting, a lot of people just
exactly.
So yeah.
Then we have, I think the following weekend is your tournament.
4's Hobbies, December 28th. Again, like I mentioned last time, we are now full proxy and entries down to $20, and we're guaranteeing $500 store credit and pricing. Big changes, and we are already up to 7 people signed up. So it's actually...
And I haven't signed up yet. I don't know if I can make it, but I haven't signed up yet.
We're gaining momentum, which is nice. I had scheduled that weekend because my thinking was it's between the holidays, most people will be off and have it available. The opposite side of thinking is that some people will be doing their family Christmas on holidays. So I know there's some regulars that would like to come to that, but they're doing their family Christmas that day. So it was a risk to schedule it that day. I probably shouldn't have. But yeah, and then this will bleed into next year where Forbes is looking at doing a Nerdz style qualifier tournament. We're still deciding exactly how we want to run the qualification process. If you have any ideas, reach out to me. I'm taking a lot of the lead on scheduling this and on how this is going to work. But right now it looks like it's going to be 12 tournaments plus the Invitational. The Invitational will have a Mox Diamond to the winner, probably some other $100 to $200-ish cards to second, third, fourth, and then maybe something fun to give away during the day. Maybe it's just some small amounts of store credit to the top 10, the rest of the top cut. We'll see. We haven't decided everything yet. But I personally am all ears for this. We're really trying to get this off the ground and going. I think going to Jeremy, the owner, going to a full proxy list
is big.
It's big. Honestly. It was a big step in his direction, right?
I talked to him after our two-headed giant tournament.
Yeah.
Probably for an hour more than I really wanted to, and I think that talk helped you. Honestly, I think that was like a good stepping stone.
It's been a lot of people have talked to him about this, and I think he's come to see that this isn't the way things always go. Following the norm for this will at least help grow it a little bit, and we can make adjustments as we go.
And I get when stores don't want to do proxies. I get it. My math in my head, and I don't own a store, so I don't know this math is true. But my math in my head says I want people in the store. I want people around it.
Yeah.
I think that outweighs that. Hey, people are playing with not real cards.
And a lot of times when you go to these tournaments that are full proxy, you see people spending money at them anyway. It's not
you win store credit. Yeah. You win store credit. You spend money. I often spend more money than not more money than I have store credent, but I spend my store credit and then need to pay a little extra.
Yeah, if I have like $150 somewhere, I've got $175 worth of cards in my cart, but I'm still getting a pretty good deal on it if it's $150 off, right? So I just bought
$200 worth of cards for $50. Let's go.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
Then coming up in January, we have Oakville doing their 1K that they always do. That fills up almost every time. Not too bad. Like, it's good folks who play the tournament, and it typically is a pretty short day.
Yeah, that's January 3rd?
January 3rd, right after New Year's. I have 2 weeks off except for the Friday.
No.
So I have to go in on January 2nd, but that's fine. And on January 18th, we have Gamebridge in Cambridge hosting a Scrubland door prize tournament. They will raffle off, I believe, a Scrubland, and a winner gets store credit. These folks, I've been playing at their store quite a bit in the past year. They're super nice people, super nice family-owned store. I just want to support them.
So yeah, thanks for the chat, Joseph. Congrats again on the top finish. That's freaking amazing. And up next, you're going to hear from Andrew on his top finish at the Nerdz Invitational.
Yeah. Fun tournament at Nerdz, and can't wait to hear what Andrew has said. Take care, guys.
Yeah, cheers. And welcome back, everyone. I'm now here with Mr. Endermorph. Andrew, how you doing?
Hey, good. Good to see you, everyone. Good to be back on. The last time I was on here, Kevin and I were going through about my kitten list. We were kind of comparing, and I was making a whole bunch of changes. We were preparing for our big 3K tournament, the year-end one.
Yeah, and so you ended up going with Kinnan. Did you keep your build, or did you move more towards Freedom Waffles build?
I think I did a mix. I forget the changes I did now, but it's a mix of it. It's not so big flips. I went very big flips before. In a Tough Mulligans tournament, there was a it's the big green dragon that
Old Gnawbone. Yeah.
Old Gnawbone. That's the one. I took that out of there very quick and put Spellskite back in.
I think it was a good choice.
And then I put an include. I got this from Freedom Waffle. So I saw Freedom Waffle, Evan. He was put in 2 cards. He put in Unagi and Cabbage Merchant.
Ooh.
And
Unagi's a little spicy.
Yeah.
How'd you like it?
I liked Unagi. That one, I was playing with Kevin in a game actually, and there was a whole bunch of draw engines. Was it 2 Timnas? There was a Fairy Mastermind out. You had a
Timna, I think 2 Fairy Masterminds, and maybe like a Ristic or something. Like there was a lot of drawing happening at this table. Yeah.
There was a lot. Was there a Crom too? I don't know. Anyway, there was a lot of just when things happen. There might have been an Esper, people drawing cards. So one guy had some counterspell, and he was debating countering my Unagi, which I was surprised at and would have been fun. Like I didn't think Unagi was. I played this Unagi because I had Polywog out. I'm a big fan of Polywog in my decks.
Yeah, Polywog did work for you. That whole game, your draw engines were just going off.
Yeah. So I had Polywog had evolved once from a Kinnan, and then I play Unagi, and he's debating countering it, and I'm thinking, I don't think this thing's going to do much, right? He doesn't counter. Unagi lands. I played it mostly for the trigger on Polywog. I wasn't iffy on Unagi. That's why I kind of forgot it had flash speed. First time I actually cast it.
Yeah, you played it at sorcery speed. Yeah.
Yeah, I played it sorcery. I could have surprised someone because there's probably some Timna was going to swing at my kitten or something. I don't know.
Because you're playing it for Polywog, there is the argument to do it at sorcery speed so you don't miss a draw trigger, but it's probably still better to get the gotcha. Because you're going to get 2 draws off the gotcha versus maybe 1 off the extra trigger. Still, we'll paint you in a better light. There's debatable. It's debatable.
Yeah, it was debatable.
It's not strictly mistake.
Going back, I would definitely watch out. I'm going to try and flash out a Unagi if I have fun. Yeah. But anyways, I play it to evolve the Polywog because I'm a fan of that card.
Yeah.
But the game goes around. I end up drawing. There are all these draw engines, and some people are drawing too. I'm drawing off Polywog. I'm drawing off. And I don't even think there was a big counter war, was there?
There was times we tried to interact with you, but we never had that typical big stacks battle. We only had we would try to counter something and you would have an answer, or you would let it be countered because it wasn't important to you.
Yeah.
That's the area of the game you really excel at, is knowing what isn't important.
Yeah, leaving it be. Yeah, right. Because I forget what counter spell he had. Because he almost used on my Unagi, and he ends up using it on your Smothering Tithe, right? What did he use? I forget.
Was it just Force?
Maybe. It must have been if it hits creature and
Yeah.
I guess it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but my Polywog and Unagi goes off, and Unagi I was really impressed with because it is a must. So luckily there was no Bowmasters or I would have gotten blown out. But whenever someone else draws 2 which, if there's a single Timna out there, they draw a card, Timna swings in.
That's two right there.
Oh, yeah, 2 off your Unagi, and it got some value there.
So you got a lot of value. You had like probably 20 cards in your hand at one point, maybe 25.
Yeah, and that was all off. Yeah, there was a lot. That was all off.
It was Unagi and Polywog Prodigy.
Yeah,
when we started going, like, trying to interact with you started drawing cards, because your Polywog was like 4 power or whatever it had.
Yeah. And the whole game, I never had a draw engine, because I know he had an Esper. There was Timnas and Kroms. Like, I was the only one without. I guess I had Polywog before then.
Yeah.
Because I evolved it
once
from Kinnan.
Your Polywog was out a lot of the game. Yeah.
Anyways, I guess I should say, if you're playing Kinnan, I'd strongly suggest Unagi.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a card we underrated, I think, going into this.
Yes. And then I know Cabbage Merchant is going big. He's popular. I have the card. I ended up getting it, but I haven't put it in because if I'm putting a creature in, I really don't want it to be human in case I flip into it. So that human scares me off it because I know it's a really good card, but I don't know.
But it produces so much mana.
Yeah. So that's the one I'm debating about playing. My plan is to play Kinnan again in Orangeville, the Orangeville tournament this Sunday.
Okay, yeah. Are you going to put Cabbage Merchant in for it?
I don't think so. I'm debating. There's a couple of cards I'm debating. Cabbage Merchant, Adramol Cub, Lightning Greaves, and Counterbalance is the one I'm leaning towards.
You're leaning towards Counterbalance.
Yeah.
So why do you want to do Counterbalance? I'm interested in that.
I played against it in one game. I posted it in our Discord. There's a European League. If you have enough time, try that. There's something else I want to talk about that later, though. A different way of playing. But it was just a very frustrating, annoying card to play against with what's on top. Especially if there's any kind of card draw engine, because it's not like, say you have Unagi or Fairy Mastermind, the top card's going to change.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of scary just casting stuff into what's on top, when you don't know.
Yeah, Counterbalance is best when you have a top in play. That's when it really shines. And I don't think you play top, do you?
I know. There's no top deck manipulate, nothing like that. So I was thinking about that is why I'm hesitant to it, because I can't really change the top of the deck. I don't even play that many.
The best you could probably do is like Worldly Tutor and Mystical Tutor. You do run those, yeah?
I don't. I'm off both of them because
Really? Okay.
I try to maximize my flip, so I'd rather that be. Plus, I'm kind of on the like Sanctum Weaver and a lot of these 2 mana tap for any colored mana dorks. So
2 mana is a good like number for that because you're gonna hit Breach, Brain Freeze. Although Brain Freeze, you still get the Storm Trigger, so it's kind of moot. But yeah, there's a lot of 2-drops in the format.
Yeah, and I was also thinking, although I don't have top, instead of main phase flipping Kinnan, if I have interaction, I can keep it up. If there's a counterbalance up, I know that's kind of a dream scenario, and you reveal some big creature that you don't, off counterbalance, if you have the mana up, well, now you can flip into that.
Yeah, now you know it's going to be flipped into. That's true.
Yeah. So I'm debating it. I don't know. What do you think would be your pick out of those 4 cards?
Out of those 4, Cabbage Man for sure. And I know it's not a human, or no, it's a human, so you can't hit it off Kinnan, but it's like people do not respect it as much as they respect other engines yet.
Yeah. I guess one thing about it too I'm a little down on is I don't care about my life in Kinnan. So if there's an Ad Naus Necro player at the table, I don't want to be taking the swings towards me when they could be getting their life down.
I think you would still prioritize the Ad Nauseam player until they were at like 20, 10, 15 life, something in there. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I wasn't sure what the thing was for that. Okay, yeah.
If I was like, now I say that being a blue farm player, so I know like when I get to 20, like 10, 15, 20 life is when I'm like, okay, I can't really, like the Ad Naus playing is hard out now. But yeah, you could also consider, I'd probably go Badger Mole Cub as long as you run enough tap creatures.
Yeah, tap creatures. I mean, probably the correct option. So I'm not on Pact of Negation. I should just throw that in there. I think that is more of a turbo card, but I should probably just be on it.
What other interaction do you have?
Just about every other counter spell.
Okay.
Like just not, I am on Mana Drain. I think a lot of Kinnan lists have cut that, but I like it. It hits everything.
That's definitely a benefit, hitting everything. I could see not running Pact. Or, like, other lists are on it, I assume?
I think so. Yeah, I think most are on it. It's just that free,
Yeah, it is free. If you're gonna like, it also makes your counterbalance worse. Because I mean, there's technically a lot of zeros. A zero can stop a breach line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably go with Badgermill Cub Cabbage Man. Badgermill Cub, like you can get extra creatures for Cradle or anything that like taps for creatures too. You run Enduring Vitality.
Yes, I really like that. Yeah, you remember that in our, or yeah, Enduring Vitality is a must run. Yeah.
Yeah, so you run that, and Badgermill Cub helps that too. There's just a lot of synergies in there.
Actually, I'm also on the other one, Cryptolith Rites. So
that. Yeah, it'll work for things like mana creatures, Enduring Vitality, and stuff, but it won't work for Springleaf Trauma. I think I'd go Badgermill Cub, Cabbage Man. Yeah.
Okay. What about for your blue farm? Any changes?
No, I'm sticking with Aang for the rest of the year.
Aang?
Yeah.
The clone, is that the clone deck?
Yeah, it's the clone deck. It's really fun.
Nice.
And I think I want to try out. I kind of did like a mid-range list for the Tough Mulligans tournament. I did okay. Like a couple times I was just stopped by bad luck. Like a turn one, C1, turn one, Grafdigger's Cage.
Oh.
That just slows me right down. And eventually I got rid of it, and we had to put a win on. I tried to put a win on the stock, but I was interrupted. And then what was the other one? Oh, there was like I ran into two Italis. The thing about playing Itali, or what's it called? Aang, is that it's really bad into Atali, who's pretty popular right now.
All the clones.
So I'm probably gonna go with a what's it called? Like a rule of law list, like a little bit more stacksy. Because I don't need to cast a bunch of non-creature spells. I just need to cast one. Like I can cast one spell a turn and technically win the game.
That's a really smart idea. Like, would you go Archon of Emeria and all the stacks kind of slow people down?
Probably. Yeah. I don't know how deep into the stacks I want to go. Because playing stacks, like, you have to be really careful not to get rid of stacks at the wrong time. Like, keeping your stack, like, and someone else getting rid of your stacks can just unlock somebody else. So that's kind of would be the frustrating part of it for me, for sure. But it's been really fun, and I think that's a good way to get around the Atali problem that the deck has. Because if Atali can't cast 3 rituals into Atali, they can't win the game before you have a chance.
Yeah, and Ral, there's a lot of turbo decks.
Ral too, I forgot about Ral, yeah.
Atali. I've been playing in this European tournament a couple of games, and there's a deck doing their Elevir of the Wild Court with the
the white-green one?
It's all stacks, and it just grinds it out and just swings. It draws cards off the Elevir, those tokens. It's a really good deck. It's been, I
think we had someone playing it at Woodstock before. It held its own for sure.
Yeah, a while back, right? Like I haven't seen him. Like that was earlier in the year, right? Yeah,
maybe even last year.
Yeah, kind of mid-range hell. Like mid-range hell, you wouldn't want to play that, but stacks, or the turbo meta.
And the turbo meta, I think it'll do very well.
I made this deck here, Urza. I've been making.
Oh, nice! Yeah.
Urza. I just haven't had a chance to really play it yet, but I want to bring this out one time.
You should absolutely. It'd be a fun deck to play against.
I just don't know all the combos and.
That's like that league you joined. I would encourage you to like if it turns out you can't make the top cut of that, like it's too far out. I would start playing that into the league and just see how you like it.
That's exactly the plan.
league games are an excellent place to practice decks because there's something on the line, so people play it semi-seriously. But it's still like it's not too big of a deal if you don't lose or if you don't perform well. So you were on Kinnan.
Yeah.
How did your day go? What were some highlights of the day for you other than top 4ing? Which congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, that was I'm surprised. I was tired of Blue Farm. I wasn't performing well on it. I'd get right to the end and something would always happen. Going into the tournament, I messed up with Trinisphere, a card that a lot of players have cut from their Kinnan list. I'm still on it. I want to replace it with Dampening Sphere, but I don't own one, so I've just been sticking with Trinisphere. I think Dampening Sphere is really good in the Rogthrast meta and all the turbo meta. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I stuck with what I had, and did we play our first game? Was that?
It was the first game me and you played, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Unagi game we were talking about earlier, I think.
Yeah, Unagi, Polywog, that was really good. Kevin, you tried to win over top with a breach when I had a wandering archaic or a board upon a win.
Yeah. So I had made the bet you were out of interaction at that point. So I cast. You had the wandering archaic out. I cast Born Upon the Wind to try and go on top. And you managed to outpace me. Thank you, because I paid for it so you didn't copy it. And then, did you counter it, or did you just like have enough stuff on top and then counter it? I think there may have been some interaction, like non-counterspell interaction on top.
Yeah, I honestly forget now. It's been a while, but I remember
it was a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
because that's the game when my Polywog and Unagi had drawn me so many cards. But
you may have been sandbagging too, for all I know. Like it was.
I don't know.
So that's what it was. So my setup was the e-tutor to put the breach on top and then draw it with the Born Upon the Wind. And I think I had an agreement with the other two players that if I won, I would draw.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to win, I would draw. And then my Born didn't end up resolving, so it didn't matter. Because I think I pitched my hand to a Lion's Eye Diamond to pay for the LED.
Yes. And there was a misplay where I think Derevi had a good chance of winning because I didn't have much interaction. I ended up drawing it later. But Derevi, I didn't have a counter spell because he tutored for Derevi, I think. Or somehow he gets Derevi. He tries to untap something. Anyways, I had a Pongify and like Otawara or Into the Floodmaw try and deal with his Derevi because he was going to untap all these lands. He had Thrasios and I don't know. Didn't know his combo. I just knew Derevi was the whatever he was going to target with his untap was going to blow.
I think it was Pongify.
Yeah, because I didn't have a counter because I tried something and Into the Floodmaw. He countered that. I didn't have anything. And then I let it resolve and I Pongified.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, yeah.
And that's why I thought I had the opening, because you were like, if you didn't counter that, you were low on counter magic. At least low on counter magic, if not out. So that was my read there. And you must have drawn into some with, because that Born didn't resolve. And I don't think you didn't copy it. It must have been, I think there was a point where like the stack was basically countered.
Yeah, there must have been.
Did you end up drawing into a...
Mindbreak Trap?
Mindbreak Trap, maybe?
Maybe. But I didn't. I let the guy Vampire tutored for, so I never hit that. Because you did this all on top of his Vampire I don't know. It
was a long time ago. Two of us went off at instant speed. You went off better than I did. And I made a really risky play to try to win the game, and it didn't turn out, which is fine.
You would have won it if your Smothering Tithe resolved.
Probably, yeah, because I would have been able to pay for your... then my interaction would have been actual interaction, because part of the problem with your Wandering Archaic is the two guys, even if they had counterspells, couldn't interact.
Because, I had no counterspells for when your Smothering Tithe came down, because I would have stopped it.
Yeah.
And I had nothing, because I think he tutored the Derevi finale or something, and I couldn't stop that. That's one of the things with counterbalancing Kinnan, because I can just run out of the interaction. Like, there's not a whole lot. I'm not on Offer, I'm not on Pact, I'm not on Dispel, I'm not... Because if you do that, then you have to cut creatures and, like mana dorks and all that. There's only so much room. So that was that. I started off 1-0. Game 2, I was in a 3-pod with a very good Yuriko player and Joe playing his Rogthras, I believe. And Yuriko jumped off to a really good start, was controlling the board. And I think I had Polywog. I had some draw engine anyways. It might have been Polywog again. Or Fairy Mastermind, one of the two. And Yuriko, he was dominating the game. He pushed for a win with Thasses. And I drew some cards, and I had to spin. So what I did, no, it wasn't, I think I had to spin. I must have drew a Hullbreaker Whore, flashed it out, and bounced the Thasses to his hand or something. Because I had a Swan Song. I did that. It's something like that. And then it was a heck of a game, because... I get a big board, and then Yuriko comes back. He tutors something, and he flashes in this... I'll never know the name of it. It's 3 colorless and a blue creature that returns all other blue permanents opponents control, and then your opponents can't cast blue permanents.
Oh,
so my board gets bounced.
Frig, yeah, you keep talking all
the my board gets bounced. Rob Thras's board he had some permanents on. He had the Training Grounds Thrasios. His gets bounced. The game goes on like that, but I had a lot of cards. Oh, because I had a Nezahal. That's what... I must have spun into a Nezahal. Anyways, that gets bounced.
It was Lawan Cephalid Empress.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a long game with lots of card draw. I can't really play anything. Eventually I hit, what happens to his thing? I don't know if I bounce it or he clones it. This thing gets cloned, it gets copied, there's Gilded Drakes. I ended up getting it from a Gilded Drake at some point, or a clone. I don't know how. Because he bounces it, because I think he bounces it and the Legend Warrior dies or something to get rid of my thing. Because, yeah, I had a Nezahal in the field, and in response to ETB, I exile 3 cards from my hand. So the Nezahal sticks around. So I'm drawing card, but we're not really doing anything. I'm swinging the Nezahal at Yuriko. This game, I end up killing Yuriko with combat damage. That's how long this goes.
Holy crap.
Yeah, because I end up getting the Cephalid thing, so he can't play some of his stuff, like his little 1/1 attacker pingers, and Joe's basically out of this game.
Yeah.
He doesn't recover, so it's me and Yuriko Yuriko would have just killed his combat damage, but he pushed, he drew a lot of cards into my thing, and then, anyways, that all happens, and I kill him with combat damage. So I get a lucky 2-0. And then I think game 3, I'm looking for a draw. There's another Kinnan player who's 2-0. He wants a draw. The other player, he's a good Sisay player. He's iffy, would rather play it out. And then there's another Blue Farm player there. So we all go around. There's Trinispheres, there's Curse Totems, there's... Sisay has a Ristic and a Smothering Tithe, but me and the other Kinnan player, we can't do anything with our Curse Totems. We can't spin. We are just literally paying a couple spells and paying for the Smothering Tithe every turnaround. Mm-hmm. And then the other player, he was Kefka or Blue Farm. Anyways, he doesn't have much of a hand. He mulliganed to like 3 or something. And like he's just interaction. We're all playing Smothering Tithe. It ends up naturally just going to time.
Yeah.
We get a draw.
That's funny.
Yeah, we wanted it. It's like none of us were in a position to win. The Sisay player was always threatening win. It was basically the 3 of us against that. Mm-hmm. I think Curse Toad. Yeah, I have the one last turn. At the end, they don't want to draw because it's Sisay player doesn't want to draw, and then the Blue Farm player doesn't want to draw. They're all alternating. One of them wants to draw, one of them doesn't because he has a breach.
Just as they think they can win the game, they're like, "Well, I'm not going to draw. I can try to win the game next turn."
Yeah, exactly. That's essentially how it's going on because it's slow grinding games. We're playing Ristics, playing Smothering Tithes, and then I end up there's a Cursed Totem. Like the other Kinnan player ends up copying a Cursed Totem, I think. So there's 2 of the things because Sisay can't win right through the Cursed Totem, and then I'm thinking. I resolve an overloaded Cycraft, thinking, okay, we'll have a draw, but the Breach player doesn't want to, or he doesn't want to, right? I'm thinking, why wouldn't he want to? The only way, he has no board, just Breach. He must have a Breach line. So it comes back around to my turn. He has a Pact of Negation to pay for in his turn. So we get another turn around, and I draw a Trinisphere. I play a Trinisphere. I have a Phyrexian Metamorph in hand, and I copy my Trinisphere with Phyrexian Metamorph.
Wow.
As it's like going into his turn with a minute
just
left.
as backup, basically.
As backup. So in case he
so you need 2 removal
bounces.
Spells. Yep.
Yeah. Because he doesn't care about the Cursed Totems and all that. So that's the draw.
So did he say that ended up getting there? Like
yeah, he showed his hand. He had like Breach and his graveyard. Like it was a long game. It was full of LED, like everything, right? He had
Nice.
So 2-2-1, we go into our last game. I'm looking at the standings. 2-2-1 might not be enough to get you into there with the breakers and everything. It ended up getting me in. It just depended on who wins. There's a RAL player, I think seat 1. He's good. I haven't beaten him before on his RAL. We all end up, he goes off. There's a Blue Farm who's going to have it because he has like turn 1 or 2 Smothering Tithe or something. He making all these treasures. Those 2 stop each other pretty hard. I'm out of this game. I'm doing nothing. I pass. And then there's under the radar, Chatterfang wins it out of nowhere. The Blue Farm just doesn't have the interaction for creatures, and he just infinite combos, Pitiless Ponder. But anyways, the breakers, and we get in. I got into the top 4, so Kinnan did well.
Nice. Congratulations. Again,
Thank
that's
you.
Huge accomplishment to qualify and grind all year and get there. You deserve it, for sure. Shout out to Nerdz. I think let's take a minute here and just give Nerdz like a pretty big shout out. Following along with Nerdz at all, you know that they've basically changed the way that things are going to go there. They've sold their physical location to Jared, who is judging. He's going to open up his own shop there, and Nerdz itself is going to be an online retailer. And I believe the plan is to have a circuit of tournaments around Southern Ontario, which is really good for us. That's exactly kind of what we want in our podcast. It means we'll be going to less of them, but that more people will be, like a more variety of people will get to go to them, which I think is overall better. But it is where like we all met basically. Yeah. If it wasn't for Nerdz, we wouldn't have this podcast because we wouldn't have reconnected with each other or connected with each other. And yeah, so just a big thank you to Josh and Theoden and everyone there who over the years made that tournament scene like one of the go-to places for CEDH in Southern Ontario, especially a couple of years ago when nobody was running it. They were running it.
I've always enjoyed the games there. I always enjoy making the trip to Nerdz, playing there. It's a great space, great atmosphere. Josh has been great there, and Jared's going to continue to be great there. He's opening PAX, I believe it is the new store.
I think that's what they're calling it, yeah.
Yeah, from Nerdz to PAX. And Nerdz is still going. It's like an online storefront, and it'll be great. Both of them.
It's really good. I don't think CEDH in Southern Ontario would be where it was if it wasn't for Nerdz. They were one of the big pioneering forces to get CEDH off the ground here. So good luck to them in their future. And unless there's anything else you want to add.
Nerdz was my third tournament to go to, and it's been great. I've always wanted to go back. I did terrible in my first tournament, but it was a great learning experience, and I always enjoyed playing there.
I think on behalf of all of us at Ignite CEDH, a heartfelt thank you and good luck to Nerdz and PAX. We hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think there's anything else for me to ask you, but I bet you there's some questions you're itching to ask me.
Oh, before that, I wanted to mention, I posted on our Discord, there's a European CEDH League, free to enter. There's some prizes. They kind of play at different times, so it might be hard, but if you have time over the Christmas break, it's good. And they have this interesting format rule that I wasn't used to. So if they're very good, they're best I've ever seen at getting draws. Really? It restarts. They will play and they will protect someone else's necropotence for a draw. Like if they perceive anyone to be a little bit ahead of a board state, they politic for these draws.
Oh my god, that would annoy the shit out of me.
It's weird because it's not a full draw. They ask for something called a restart. So you have your 80-minute timer.
Yeah.
And a restart is you just keep the seed order and you just shuffle up and you replay in that timer and you can get a new winner. So it's like I've seen people mystical tutor like Esper on the stack get an interaction to protect someone else's necropotence to force a draw. And everyone is so accepting of draws. I'm not used or restarts. I'm not used to it at all, but it's just a different way of playing.
So what happens in like a timed draw? Like let's say you restarted the game and then you go to time before the end of the second game.
Well, I think the time it's 80 minutes and then they allow, I don't know how official it is because, it's a CD, like it's just a tournament online where we keep, like they use a little bot that starts the timer, but they just say we add 2-3 minutes for talking and shuffling in between.
Okay.
So of the restart, and then so it's 80 minutes, and then there's a 20-minute like overtime on that turn.
For that one turn, okay.
For the one turn, so that's how it is. I haven't played many games, but I haven't gotten to the point where it's, like we got into the overtime on the turn. So I don't know how strict they are with the time, but it's interesting and they're very quick to it. So I'm not used to saying the draws. I think of that as like the very last. They'll do it really early, like show hands, and we can do all this. And they talk about it, and I usually just say no to those. Like I'm here to play. I'm not taking it that seriously,
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I wouldn't be against it if you're on the fence about trying it. It's different play patterns and everything. It
sounds interesting for sure. I wouldn't hate it. I'd like to see it in action before I get a full opinion on it, but in theory, allowing restarts, I guess in theory you get less draws because all the draws that are like, if you force a draw in like Tough Mulligans or Critical EDH or whatever, if instead of forcing a draw, you're forcing a restart where you might come up with another winner. Yeah. And as much as like there's a lot of draws in CEDH, a majority of games still finish.
Yeah.
It probably plays into turbo meta a bit more then.
Well, there's less turbo meta, I think I find there.
Really?
It seems too extreme. You're all the pure turbo, like you're going, and they almost just play for those draws, right? Because they go in and then everyone just throws in the restart.
Yeah.
Or it's just like Elevere stacks and like these grindy, like. It's interesting. If you have some time to play, I'd recommend just trying it and seeing the European.
It's free, right?
Yeah, it's all free. Yeah.
Maybe I will give it a try then. That's really interesting.
Yeah, just the restarts and the politics. It's different.
I've been looking to test Ang out a little bit more. Might be able to make that work.
That seems exactly like it would, because you'd be on the turbo side and people will give you draws.
Yeah. Funny about being on the turbo side is I'm actually considering switching up Ang a little bit. In the Ang Discord we've been talking about. There's some players who have gone stacks with it, so like just pretty much strictly rule of law effects as far as I know. But because we don't need to cast non-creature spells to go off, we just cast a creature spell, and then it limits everyone else. So the Atalis and the Rock Size, they all take much longer to go under a stacks effect. Whereas you just set up a creature, play your doubler, play your Ang, and then go off. Yeah. So maybe I'll give it a try there. That's interesting.
And that seems the best way to build Ang, because you're not as fast as Rogsai Atali, right?
No, you can't keep up with them, no.
Yeah, if you slow them down a bit, and then you, like your game plan one is, I assume card draw stacks piece, right? Mana?
I think on Ang it'd be, depending on your pod, you're either looking for stacks piece or mana dork. And then doubler, and then Ang. The goal is turn 2 doubler, turn 3 Ang. Realistically, I found that's pretty hard to achieve.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. This leads us in. I have some questions for you.
Oh boy, make me mad. It's been a while.
All right. So overreaction CEDH. Tournament EDH, so TEDH, is so different than CEDH that there should be a distinction between the two. For example, there are lots of CEDH commanders, but if you look at EDH top 16, there's a much smaller list of TEDH commanders that consistently perform well. We should make a distinction between CEDH and TEDH because they even play differently with draws, and draws you don't find in casual CEDH.
Okay.
Do you think there's a distinction between a deck you'd play in a tournament and one you'd play at a CEDH table?
I think it depends how badly I want to win that tournament. If it's a serious tournament, I'm probably just bringing Blue Farm, and people should bring the decks that they think will have the best chance to win. But if we're just four people sitting at a table trying to play the best Magic we can, like the highest power EDH we can, then you can bust out the other decks for fun, right? Is there? I think we've already started to see a difference, because you can't you look at the CEDH deck database versus EDH top 16. The deck database, well, bigger and harder to maintain, has way more niche commanders on it than the EDH top 16, where you're going to find only the most competitive commanders and tournament results, right?
But then you get Brewer's Advantage. My Joyra would not be on a top one, right? Even Urza isn't. But if I play these, I feel like if I sit down in a game, I have certain advantages against, even if it's not so much target on your back, of if I'm sitting with Joyra versus Blue Farm, if someone has a counterspell, they're more likely to use it at your Smothering Tithe, for example, right?
Yeah, so, I understand that. Yeah. There's definitely a distinction. I think we've already started to see it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth calling it a different format, per se, because you're still playing the same cards under the same rules. The only difference in tournament is that you have a time limit, and there's a few more structured rules.
Well, that is something right there. Do you think if there was no time limit in tournaments, stacks and Tivik get so much better? Slower grinder builds.
I think just there's different builds. I think the commanders themselves are still fine. But different builds come up for sure. I think I'm going to stick with my answer. I think that there's already a little bit of a separation. But that doesn't stop you from bringing just any CEDH commander, any competent CEDH deck to a tournament. Right. As long as you know how to pilot it and it can reasonably win games among that table, I think you're in the right place. Just not playing a top tournament deck doesn't mean you're not playing tournament CEDH.
Yeah. Agreed. The best thing is just knowing your deck, how it works.
And that's where I think it was I think it was a very good decision, obviously, like hindsight's 2020, but for you to play Kinnan instead of Blue Farm. I know you were back and forth, but I think you choosing the deck that you knew the best and that you knew inside and out and more fits your playstyle and is easier for you to run, I think that is matters miles more than any one card you put in that list.
Yeah, I think so. I'm more comfortable in 2-color decks. 4-color, the fetches, I'm thinking...
that's like a big thing when I was playing Modern, was like repetitions with the deck you play, because when you get repetitions in, you start to form the connections in your brain that move quicker. You don't need to think, do I go Kinnan, do I ramp into Kinnan with this or that? Do I play creature and then ramp? Like, you just know you play your dork, you play Kinnan, and then your like artifact mana, stuff like that. There's just heuristics you form when you've played a deck over and over again that help you play the deck quicker, and because you're forming those heuristics, you're playing it at a higher level because you don't need to use brain power on those things. You can use brain powers on more difficult decisions.
Yeah, I can pay more attention to the board threat assessment rather than trying to figure out my fetches and what I'm doing. Kinnan's pretty easy. You play Mana Dork, you play Kinnan, you spin, or you play Unagi at sorcery speed. That's what
Yeah, I think I definitely think the knowing your deck in repetitions is much more important than as long as your deck can perform at that level, then it's more important than any of those factors.
Next one. When going to tournaments, I hear lots of people complaining about being seat 4. It feels bad, especially if you need to win to have any chance at beating breakers and getting into top 16. And then before your round even starts, say you need a win, you realize you're seat 4. We need to lessen the disadvantage of seat 4, and I think we should start with a simple scry before your first draw. It's something simple that Top Deck could implement into the tournaments going forward. And it's not a big enough advantage that seat 4 now becomes better than seat 3 or 2. You definitely want a bit of an advantage, but not too much. So I was thinking to limit the disadvantage that feels bad of seat 4, just start with a scry before you draw.
So the seat 4 or seat 1 problem in CEDH, specifically I guess TDH, is large. I did a quick search of seat 4 CEDH. Not problem, there's seat 4 CEDH, and like stuff from like 3 years ago is coming up in search history. This has been a problem for a long time. And like the data's there. This is it's a problem. You're playing in C4. This data's a couple years old, but there's like 13% win rate versus a 35% win rate. I think it's kind of evened out a little bit since then. That may be just a difference. It's definitely an older set of numbers. I think it's closer down to like 28 versus 18, 19-ish. But it is a big problem. It's something we need to work on.
I think it's a problem that's gotten bigger since the Dockside ban too, because Dockside in seat 4
there's no catch up. Yeah. There's been a lot of ideas on how to fix the seat 4 problem. Seat 4 scrying one is probably like the lowest I've heard of.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to start too high.
It does, like, if you're going to introduce something, that's probably where you introduce it, and then you go for 6 months or like a year, and you see how much tournament EDH affects, like how results are affected in tournament EDH.
And not just tournament. I'd like Magic just to implement this across the board for Commander, because I think it would just help.
I'm like casual Commander, like seed order still matters in casual Commander, but part of the problem for that, in my opinion, is we don't have any reliable data, right? We can trust people to track their games and like keep a spreadsheet and see who's winning and all that stuff. But in the end, that's going to be so minuscule compared to the amount of games played on a grand scale. It's not going to matter. Yeah. Tournament EDH, like Top Deck, could reasonably track seat win rates.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they could release those numbers, and we could see a difference between before and after much easier. And we're going to capture a majority of tournaments CEDH happens on Top Deck, and you will capture that better in in the statistics than you will just by feel. Absolutely.
Which leads me to my next one is Gemstone Caverns was a great card. I think Wizards shouldn't stop there and should print more creatures. And like for creatures, for example, you can do enchantments, but creatures is just the easiest hit. So say a Fairy Mastermind like card or something like that. But if this is in your opening hand and you're not seat 1, or maybe if you can start with that on the field. I don't know if that's too unbalanced, but you can start with some creatures, maybe not that good, but just expand.
A whole creature. Oh man, it's hard because like
it's too high rolly. Is that what
Gemstone Caverns is like? You're giving up a card in your hand to get an extra to ramp, basically.
Well, the same thing. You'd have to exile something.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking like what else would be on that level where you can exile a card from your hand and it's a fair cost to ramp one, and even like is it like I'm not sure if I would call it like fair or not, because I feel if Wizards thought it was fair, they would have done it already. I do think I'd like to see them experiment with it. But I'm trying to think of like the creature or like the creature compare. Like if you're just gonna do like, oh, here's a Llanowar Elves that you can exile and start on the battlefield. Well, that's the same as that's basically Gemstone Caverns. But just trying to think of like what the appropriate thing is, because like exile a card to start with a Mystic Remora is too much.
Too good. Well,
exile the card to start with a Llanowar Elves is just Gemstone Caverns.
That's what I thought. And worse than Gemstone Caverns, right? So we have a baseline of Llanowar Elves. That would come in the format. I don't think I run it in Canada. Maybe I do. I probably do.
We also have the ley lines to compare to, which is an interesting comparison, because they need to be in your starting hand. But the ley lines currently you don't need to go first. But we don't really run ley lines in CEDH.
No, so they don't.
Because they're, for the most part, overcosted for what you do unless they're in your opener.
Would say Birds of Paradise, would a Birds of Paradise have the same text as Gemstone Caverns? Would that be broken or no?
It wouldn't be broken, but everybody playing green would run it.
Would run it. Is that bad?
You then get into the problem of like, what's the word? Not unifying the format. Like ubiquity, right?
Yeah.
Everything is the same. There's no uniqueness.
So Birds is too good, but a Llanowar Elves would
not necessarily too good. It's just too like everyone in CEDH runs Gemstone Caverns pretty much unanimously, right? You always want to be a mana ahead, and there's almost always something you can pitch from your hand that you want to make that happen.
Well, I don't want the cards that go in every deck. One thing I liked about Avatar set is the cards seem to help low color decks. Like, Wanchiton is maybe the most broken cards, but it's it's double blue. Like you can't just put that in everything. I like that.
If you had a cycle, what would those creatures be? Or you can do like an enchantment artifact. I think I'm just trying to think along the lines of like other 1-mana spells we've had in the past. Because I guess you can also compare, like you just did, to Birds of Paradise. Yeah. So you start with Birds of Paradise on the battlefield. Other 1-mana permanents we've had, like start with an Esper Sentinel would be too strong. Anything where you draw cards is probably too strong because you're going to replace that card you exiled.
Yes.
So anything like that we can get rid of. Maybe something. There was a 1-mana enchantment in Ixalan that made a 1/1 and flipped into a land if you attacked with 3 creatures. That might be starting to get close, where like you get basically a 1/1 and disenchantment. So you start with a little bit of board presence. I think it would be good for creature decks like Cradle decks, but I'm not sure a 1/1 is worth exiling a card from your hand for.
What about a Serra Ascendant? Card like that.
6/6.
That's too swingy. That's too much, I think. Yeah.
I think you might need to fiddle with the power and toughness, but I think we're getting closer.
Something like that. I want Wizards to experiment. Gemstone was good, and it kind of helps the other, like the seat 1 disparity, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a good design space that they could explore.
I would like to see that design space explored. They could also do something. A couple times they've compared with, or they've done like the 2-mana Jace, but you can't cast it turn 1, 2, or 3.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's interesting too. Yeah.
So they could definitely do something where like, okay, you had like imagine like a heuristic study, but it doesn't draw cards on the first 2 turns of the game.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I like it. You pay the mana, you can get it out early, deploy it late. But yeah, some downsides to some of these generic cards. Yeah, that's a good way of.
Maybe not. Like heuristic study might be too powerful even for that.
Yeah.
But like an Esper Sentinel that doesn't draw you a card on the first turn cycle.
Yeah.
That might be worth it.
I like that. That's a good yeah, they have some room with that. I like that.
Because then it has to survive a round, someone can kill it in response, and people can set up their first piece of ramp for free if it's Esper Sentinel. Yeah. So maybe something like that's not impossible.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think I would like to see them explore the space. I'm just hesitant to say they will because they've had that idea for so long and they haven't touched it.
Yeah. Well, they went pretty high with gemstones. Like that's. They did.
Gemstone's pretty good.
Yeah. So I wouldn't want a Birds of Paradise. That's too good. Some card like dial it back and just because you don't. It's definitely powerful.
What about like scrying 1 on your upkeep? Like you get a you get a enchantment. The enchantment say costs 3 on its own, but it's you can play it you can put it on the battlefield for free if you exile a card in your opening hand and you're not first seat. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry 1, and then like. Pay 6 mana, flip it into something more useful.
It depends on your deck. I'm not a fan of it because it's just card disadvantage, right? You're losing.
Well, you can roughly equate scry to 1/3 of a draw.
1/3. But then you're going down, I guess, the 1/1. The card in your hand that I wouldn't put in deck to begin with, and you have to exile something to get it out.
Yeah, so you might... Okay. So that's probably too weak. I mean, we could sit here and brainstorm for an hour if we wanted to.
But I mean, if it was
but like this is what people get paid to do, right?
It's like say that would be an interesting card if it was on Dragon Rage Channeler. There's a lot of decks that would love to play that, like Dragon Rage Channel, but you have that ability that you said, like the gemstones.
Yeah, it's DRC. I think DRC is actually a really good one, where you exile a card to play a DRC for free. I think that's a pretty fair effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of decks would.
There we go. We found it. We did it.
Yeah.
High five. That's all our work for the year.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. And that's the episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you really liked what you watched, give us a like, a subscribe, ring the bell so you get the notification. We're on all the major podcast platforms and YouTube. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you this weekend or next week at one of our tournaments.
Hosting a decent tournament. I'm already signed up. I'm excited for that one.
I don't think you said the name of the store.
Oh,
sorry. You can start that again with the just put the name of the store in there. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go get the kids in like 10 minutes?
No, my wife's going to go get them.
Oh, awesome.
That's what that was.
Thanks, Mrs. Endermorph. No, that's awesome. I'm going to make Beef Wellington tomorrow, which I'm really excited for.
What is Beef Wellington?
It's like a center cut loin wrapped in mushroom pate, prosciutto, and then like a phyllo, like a flaky dough, basically. You can look up like Gordon Ramsay makes it. He's like very famous for it. But it is like, I made it last year for Solstice, and I'm making it this year for Solstice. It turned out so well last year. I don't think I can top it. It's like medium rare all the way through. I'll send you a picture of it. Nice. But I'm looking forward to making it again.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Oh, it was so good.
Good job.
For the first time, I was pretty happy. The dough kind of like fell apart a bit while I was cutting it, but it overall for my first time making such a complicated dish, I think it's fine.